Backfield, Rattler all alone at the 39. Wide receiver screen thrown out. Juice Swells, one move. Trying to get another. Trying to turn the corner. Juice Swells, it's on the 35-yard line. Tommy Suggs, what a move or two. And Carolina's got the first down with 1:04 remaining in the ball game. Are you kidding me? Boom!
You know a good lawyer, because you just ripped the hell out of my arm right here.
Sorry, I'll buy you another sweatshirt.
Oh, gosh.
What
Wonderful.
a move and what an
Wonderful.
effort by Wells.
And it was all effort, too. No question about it. Get it to your playmakers in times like this and let them make plays. And that's what exactly happened. 47 seconds to go, folks. I'm thinking you can put this one in the books. I think you can.
They're getting the victory formation.
Yep.
The Gamecocks up by one, 31-30.
Best play in college football.
Rattler takes a knee.
That is it, folks.
He throws the football up in the air, and the streak is over. Carolina has defeated number 7, Clemson, 31-30. They go back-to-back in top 10 wins. First, number 5, Tennessee, and now number 7, Clemson.
Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports.
Have fun with the guys at the bar talking sports, Dad.
All right, y'all, break out the sports books because we got my man, Landon the Legend, going to give you guys the picks for this week, and here they are.
USC, TCU, and Michigan, Britain, Georgia.
So in that USC versus Utah game, he's got USC. TCU is going to win the Big 12. Michigan wins Big 10. Clemson wins the ACC, and Georgia is going to win the SEC, according to the famous Landon. Do you want to help support the show? Well, we're doing it for beer. So go ahead and buy us a beer. You can do that through Venmo at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, and we'll look forward to drinking that beer on you. Let's go ahead and start up the podcast then, y'all. So welcome to Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. We are here in a completely full bar, as you can tell behind us, doing a podcast. If you hear any music or anything in the background, that's because we're at a technical freaking bar doing a show. We're going to have a good show today because your boy Hanger's back. I know last week y'all are about to fire me for full-time doing this show because we had our man, The Rebel, hosting the show. Did a great job. I appreciate all y'all's hard work and everyone coming out to do the show as well. It was, listening back to it, I was like, man, these people might fire me next week because I know my boy Rebel's doing a good job.
I think the right thing to do is to make Rebel the associate podcast runner.
The associate podcast host.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one, man. Yeah.
I want to be like Mike. I want to be like Hanger.
I'm the president of hosting. You'll be the VP
He can
of
be
hosting.
the associate in waiting.
Associate.
Yeah, the coach in waiting.
Exactly.
See, Hanger, what you don't know is we got here an hour early. We already taped the show.
Oh God. Okay. You guys are gonna drop the new
We're
name
just not
of your
going to tell you.
podcast.
We're just going to
Y'all came up with
ease you out gently.
This is all for funsies.
Guys at the pub talking sports, and just go ahead and put that into your podcast app.
Hey, people, keep listening. We're just joking, all right? Keep listening.
Keep on listening. They've probably already tuned out by now. I'm sure about that. But this is Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Thank you all for joining us for a look at the college football conference championships this week. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Championship week.
Championship week. That's exciting. The football season the regular season's over with. A lot of people obviously are looking at their teams going to a bowl game. Some people are looking at their teams going to being in the top 4, obviously, and being in the playoffs. But obviously right now we're looking at conference championship weekend, and that's what we'll be talking about this week. Let's go ahead and get some introductions going here. We got Cheeks. What are you drinking, Cheeks?
The grapefruit shuffling.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's the same thing you were drinking last week when I was not here. I heard it.
Yes.
And it's got to be some good stuff if you reordered. So
It is. It's very tasty.
who's your daddy? What are you drinking?
Congratulations, welcome back.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
White mocha stout again. I like that name before it. Legal remedy. I don't know if that makes me legal when I'm drinking it or what that means. But
Yeah.
Oh, it's lawyers that own it.
It's a bunch of lawyers that own it?
White
Oh,
mocha,
okay.
white
So-
mocha stout.
Do they know how to get around the loopholes of the alcohol content then? Is it like 20%
I
alcohol?
have no
or what?
idea. I just drink it.
All right.
I'm glad my beer was bought tonight by the Rebel. I thank him for that beer.
Hey, when you lose a bet, you pay your debt. That's just how it is.
Well, I guess you just heard him. Who is that? That's a Rebel. What are you drinking, Rebel?
You got 3 guesses. You only need 1. Always. Makers.
Rum and Coke?
No. We're still working on the sponsorship, guys.
We are trying to get that sponsorship. Ripper the Predictor, you got the lip ripping fishing hat on. You could buy one of those hats if you would like to.
Pretty nice, aren't they?
I think he has his own website.
Yeah,
LipRippinFishing.com.
it's mostly word of mouth. I'm not ready to go that big, but swing by Tuesday nights. I'll hook you up with a hat.
Man, one of our 5 listeners might actually buy a hat.
Yeah, come on by.
You never know.
I think I got like 20 left. So I'm drinking Legal Remedy Pumpkin Spice Lawn Stout. Pretty good.
Yum. Yeah, that does sound pretty good. It's not even pumpkin spice time of year now, though.
I don't care.
It's getting to be like white mocha.
There's no Christmas beer up there.
Right, but it's still
But I did
fall,
have,
December.
I think I did have a Christmas beer at the
Pumpkin's
Oyster
over.
Fest on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oyster Fest, where was that?
That was down off Blanding.
Oh, man.
Downtown, this
Next time there's anything oyster related, let me know. I want to go. Chopper, what are you drinking? This is
Going
this is
on?
unusual that you're drinking this. What is that?
Ice cubes. With a lime in the bottom and a margarita in my belly.
Oh, okay, got you. Nice.
Yeah, waiting for another one.
Ready for a refill.
Well, thank you all for coming out. We're gonna do first round.
What are you drinking?
Oh, this is your man, Hanger, and I'm drinking a Michelob Ultra because my wife got on to me about drinking too much whiskey the other day.
Wait a minute, no. You got to tell us what happened after the show if that's the case.
Hey, I just want to. Can you say Michelob again?
Michelob Ultra.
Okay, it sounded like you said Michelob or something.
No, so
like Nickelodeon beer.
Yeah.
No, so on Sunday night we were having there was a little get together for Tom up here, and I drank too much whiskey. I was doing double shots of bullet bourbon. I did 4 bullets, or 4 of those, as well as a couple of beers, and I was toasted by like
That'll
9
catch
o'clock
up
at night.
to you,
Yeah,
you know?
I was not feeling
If
too
you feel
good.
like you have a
And-
problem, call 1-800 Alcoholics Anonymous.
And my wife said to me, she says, when you're drinking whiskey, you're at like 150%, and you need to tone it down.
She wants you at 140, son. That perfect medium.
Did she say it just like that?
She said it like that. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, you're at 150%, and like it's too much. It's extra.
And then
I'm
on the-
extra.
You're
and
too
then on
hanger
the
at that
side,
point.
She said, "I think he thinks he's going to get lucky tonight."
That might have been what she was
Okay,
thinking.
moving right along.
Moving right along.
Transition.
This is a sports show, not a porn show. All right, let's go on. So, first round. That's so everyone drinks their first round to get to the bar, right? I've seen something a bit unusual this season. It might not be unusual, but it's something I've seen a lot more this season. This past weekend, Texas A&M did it after they beat LSU. The fans rushed the field. FSU. Hold on. Texas A&M beat number 5 LSU, and the fans rushed the field. Maybe normal. Number 16 FSU beat an unranked University of Florida. The fans rushed the field, and I'm just wondering about this. Like, where should we set the bar at rushing the field in this world? Because FSU beats Florida, not exactly an underdog. Everybody at this table last week said that Florida was going to lose to FSU, yet the fans rushed the field. Should there be a bar set? What do y'all think?
I think it's all part of rivalry week. That game in itself was the reason why, and whoever won it probably would have rushed the field.
You'll know this better than I. When's the last time Florida State beat them?
It's been 3 years, so 3 seasons in a row.
Okay,
Florida
so
won.
me personally, 3 seasons is not enough to do that unless you're like highly, highly ranked and they're above you.
Exactly.
Now, that being said, let's put this in context. If the South Carolina-Clemson game would have been at South Carolina after 8 years of not doing anything, yes, they rushed the field.
Well, hold on. If Carolina was ranked 5 and they beat not ranked Clemson, or
No, you got to. In my opinion, you got to act like you've been there before. Don't rush the field every time you beat someone big, or
beat somebody not big. Florida's not big in that situation.
Act like you've been there before. Act like you've beat a big team before.
Well, I think some of these teams that are rushing the field, maybe they've been there before, but it's been a while since they've been there. So
and
maybe
South
those
Carolina's
fans
came on the field at Clemson. I mean, there wasn't enough of them to tell. They rushed the field too.
They did. But the week before, Carolina fans did rush the field against Tennessee. But that's understandable.
I'm like,
they got fined big time.
I'm like the comment was just made. Act like you've been there before. Have enough class to realize.
But also think about the quantity of smack talking in an area that we're not in. We weren't down there in Florida. What was Florida State doing to Florida? I mean, going back and forth. There could have been burning of mascots and everything else going on. We don't know.
Yeah, and I think in this case for Florida State, we all know Florida State has sucked the last 3 years, right? Like they've been pitiful, and now they're ranked. I know this because my entire in-law group of my wife's in-laws, right? They're all Florida State fans. My brother-in-law, father-in-law, both the sisters are all Florida State fans. They were not talking crap at all for the last couple of years. They had no crap talking to talk. Florida was winning and they were losing, but now now that we came into this game, it was a big deal that Florida State was ranked. So I mean, I understand the fan base, and I'm not just picking on Florida State. I just feel like this season there's been a lot more rushing the field for a mediocre game.
No, so my opinion, as for what it's worth, is every game's situational. Yeah. As the story to it, in my opinion, I agree with you. That's a little excessive, considering it's only been 3 years. You've got a mediocre ranked team against a Florida team who's not very good. Yeah, I remember watching that going, come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
So, I don't know if you've ever rushed a field after your team wins a big game, but that's college football at its best, in my opinion. That's when you got, your fans and a lot of students or, recent graduates or the majority of the people that are going out on the field and celebrating with their peers a victory that they can hold up together as a school.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful for the game, honestly. And I hope I see more of it.
So what about these $100,000 fines that they're doing to all these teams?
It's a drop in the bucket.
But should the SEC, should the ACC?
But every conference is not doing that.
Oh, every conference is not doing
finding
it.
it.
Okay.
Did you see him? Speaking of safety, did you see him shuffling Josh Heupel through the crowd at Carolina? Yeah. He looked scared.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! He was terrified.
Well, speaking of coaches, that is a great transition. Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of coaches, that's a great transition. I'm catching y'all off guard with my topics tonight, aren't I? Because I did not tell y'all these two topics that I was going to talk about. But that's fine. We got to keep y'all on guard, keep you on your toes. Don't let anyone study before the show to let know what's going on. This is like a pop quiz, all right? New coaches, Auburn, Hugh Freeze. This is what the AD, John Cohen, over at Auburn says. After a thoughtful, thorough, and well-vetted search, we ended where we started with Hugh Freeze. Of all the candidates we considered, Hugh was the best fit. Fit has several meanings, but the most important factors were student-athlete development, football strategy, recruiting, SEC experience, Twitter, and cocaine. That was what he said. The last two things I've just made up on my own. But what do y'all think about this guy? He went to Liberty. He coached. He did a good job. Good Christian school. Good conservative school. Did he change his ways and now he's ready to coach at Auburn?
You want to know what he thinks?
Rebel, hit me, man. Okay, I'm just going to pass it to you first, Chopper. But
college coaching and coaching at a high level has befuddled me for years. It's the only job I know to where you can do just blatantly illegal stuff. You can be terrible at your job, and somebody a few years down the road will hire you again and let you do it all over again. Yeah, I mean, it's a revolving door. It's like if you've made a name doing something, you're never going to get enough chances. So, look, I don't know enough about the guy. I'm not going to speak to his character. All you can know is what he's done in the past. The one solid I will give him credit for, and then the rest will be up to, how he does at Auburn is he just signed, I think it was a 7-year, 5-year extension with Liberty.
He did, yeah.
And I think
last month.
Correct. And I think the reason he did this was for the standpoint of Liberty gave him a second chance. Yeah. He had success there, and he knew by doing that, Auburn's going to have to pay a buyout to Liberty. It may be $1 million, but $1 million at Liberty goes a long way. So at that point then, he did that to say thank you to them, knowing I'm going to leave. And that's that. Outside of that, I don't have an opinion of the guy. Can he coach? Obviously he can, but the only thing with something like this is it goes, at what point do you say enough's enough? You tarnish our university to where we don't want to be associated with you. But it remains to be seen.
He took the catch of a
let the coach at the table tell you his opinion.
Tell me the opinion.
One thing about Hugh Freeze, he's a great coach, no doubt.
Yeah,
not about. He'll win at Auburn. They're going to win. And the one thing that he got by, and I don't know how he got by this, there was not a show cause penalty put in by the NCAA, where a lot of times they'll put a 10-year show cause before he can get hired by another university, and that was not invoked at all with Hugh Freeze at Liberty. So I think it's a great hire. I've always thought he did a great job. He turned it around at Liberty, and
he didn't turn around at Liberty. He put Liberty on the map.
He did a decent job. He took players like Malik Willis from Auburn. Yeah. He developed them into NFL talent. That would not have happened at Auburn if Malik Willis stayed there as a backup quarterback at Auburn.
And let's go back and look at this. And this goes into one of those things of NIL. In that back then when he did what he did, and you can go research it, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. You did things to try to attract folks. Now with NIL, you just start throwing money around. They're going to get what they need to do. They're not going to be as inclined to do these illegal things that he was doing on a lawful basis. They're just going to give him money to do it. And so at this point,
there could be an NIL deal just for that sort of thing.
Yes, here's you an extra few dollars. Do what you got to do. I'm not going to do it.
Was his big thing back then is he was bringing strippers in and stuff?
There's a lot deeper than that.
That is what Ole Miss said.
I'm in love with.
That's what Ole Miss. Okay. Yeah, and
strippers, call girls,
and he visited one of those places.
Yes, and he partaketh.
For lunch, they have good.
Now, I do know from a character standpoint, everybody that has sat down with him and talked with him one-on-one has come back and said, "I like this guy, and I like what he stands for, and I believe his side of the story and what he's saying." So I think he made some mistakes. His whole family's with him still right now. They still support him.
A lot to be said for that.
And he says, look, I made mistakes. Everybody deserves a second chance.
I agree with
he's
that.
not going to be. He's not stupid.
My only thing, as I said, give me another profession.
Again, right?
Another profession where you can screw up that much and still have a job tomorrow.
But again, was it really that much?
Rebel is right, though. You're right. That is true, but it's went on for years.
Absolutely. He's not the first.
One thing, he doesn't come out and actually defend himself and say what he did.
He don't make excuses.
But there are people that say, look, I sat down with him one-on-one. I was watching Feinbaum today. Feinbaum said I sat down and talked with him. I left there thinking, I don't really know what this guy did.
The thing I will say for him is, I'm sorry, man, I keep interrupting you. My apologies. The thing with him is when he gets to questions, he don't deflect. He don't run from them. I will give him credit for that. Whereas you have other coaches that say, "Oh, just talk," or before the interview, we're not going to talk about this. He doesn't run from it.
He told Liberty, I'm talking to Auburn.
All right, so
take us away, man. You get the last word on this.
All right, last one. I think the optics is really of that situation and what was going on in our country at that time. Let's be real here. The Me Too movement was just kicking off. That was not a good look for the University of Auburn. Of Ole Miss at the time. So he had to go. If that happened today, it wouldn't be as big of a story because
the environment that we're in.
I mean, it's an established.
Ask John Gruden that question.
Well, John Gruden said a lot of things that we don't need to get into right now.
Yeah, his was a little bit more
egregious.
Yeah,
he did some other things too. Yeah.
The one thing I know is Hugh Freeze likes visors, and I busted my visor back out today.
Just for Hugh Freeze.
Just for Hugh Freeze today.
All right, moving
Welcome, Hugh.
on. Moving on over to Nebraska. They got Matt Rule from after getting fired from the Carolina Panthers. So
4 games in.
Same concept. You can be terrible at what you do and get another high-paying job.
Very damn good college coach, though.
He was a good college coach.
He was.
He put Baylor on the stage. He put Temple on the stage. Yeah, like ACC champions or AAC champions 2 times in a row with Temple, and then put Baylor into a Big 12
Yeah,
championship.
he followed Art Briles, didn't he, Baylor?
Yeah.
That was no easy task, and
yeah, he turned that program around. So if there's somebody that can turn a program around, Nebraska needs it. We all know that. I mean, nothing's worked for them for the last 6 years. This season, after they fired Scott Frost after the 3rd game, you expected something to happen, and nothing happened. Mickey, I forget his last name. Mickey something was the coach.
He tried.
He tried, but he got thrown into a bad situation. The players. We're not going to stay too long on this. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yep.
That they did hire a new coach as well. Probably a good hire. We'll see.
Well, for $5.5 million for the first year, it better be.
That better be. Yeah, that's true.
And then next year he gets 6.5.
All right.
And then 7.5.
Well,
he's a premier name.
Hugh Freeze is 6.5.
Yeah.
Ripper.
I went in the wrong business.
Ripper.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ripper. I've heard a bunch of OSU fans complaining about Ryan Day.
They're crazy.
Saying they should fire him. Thoughts? I just needed to get your thoughts on this.
Absolutely not. That's stupid. He's 45-5 as the head coach. He's lost 2 in a row to Michigan, but hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it took Jim Harbaugh about 7 years to get his program where it's at. We're going to get there. You just got to be patient. Things will happen.
Fan bases are what have you done for me lately? And again, I watched this rivalry from afar.
Fickle is all hell on Facebook, I can tell you that.
No, my point being is this. For the people that are going to gripe about the last 2 years, I'm going to say step back and look at the last 20. Okay? And you look at how this rivalry has rolled. You're still in the good. A long ways into the good. I get you're mad, you're upset. But you know what? You have owned Michigan for 20 years. A quarter of a decade, you have owned them. Relax.
Fun fact. I'm 43 years old. Ohio State is 23-18-1 against Michigan since I've been alive.
Who's your daddy? Your thoughts on Ryan Day?
There's not. It's really absurd to even talk about firing a guy. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. Losing 5 games since he's been the head coach. Yeah, he's been beaten on Michigan twice. Yes, they have not fulfilled their team goals because that's one of their goals to beat Michigan. But and there's great expectations, and I think a lot of it's been put on by themselves, the coaching staff itself, and Ryan Day. But no, they're not going to get a better coach than Ryan Day at Ohio State.
It blows my mind what I've seen people saying just through stupid groups, but people say anything on Facebook.
I mean, still with a good chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, yeah. Depending on how things
the
fall.
The way the rankings came out tonight,
so
absolutely.
Did the rankings come out already?
They're already out.
Okay, well then let's talk about that.
Okay.
Who's number 5?
I didn't even get a chance to look at it before
Ohio
I hopped
State.
in.
Undeserving.
Ohio State.
So it goes Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC, Ohio State, Alabama. And those 6 teams are pretty much the only ones that have any games.
Statistically, there's no chance to
Correct.
That's it.
Correct. And the thing is this, with Ohio State and some of the other, there's going to be a big argument about whether Ohio State losing fairly significantly to Michigan and Alabama, who basically lost by 5 points, 2 games in 10 seconds. This is going to be the conversation. And you could argue both sides of that. I can't all day. The thing is this, is where this gets fun, I'm sorry, Cheeks, is you let TCU lose, you let USC lose, both of them teams are going to slide in.
What if LSU wins?
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Georgia's
still in.
Georgia and Michigan
just
are in.
goes up. They're
Georgia's still in, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that game doesn't change anything.
So all 4 of the top 4 teams are in a conference championship. So let's go ahead and jump onto the conference champions now, and then we could kind of throw in who's going to be there if they lose or whatever, okay? Let's start with the Pac-12 championship. Number 4, USC versus number 12, Utah. Utah did beat USC by 1 point on October 15th, I think it was. It does not seem like that's going to happen again, in my opinion. USC is playing some stout football right now. They're on 12 cylinders. All of them are kicking good. I just think that this team has a lot of focus. They're ranked number 4 now. If they lose this game, they're out. Everyone knows that. The team knows that. Lincoln Riley knows that.
Caleb
Williams knows that. These guys are going to come out to play. It's in Vegas. I was thinking about this. Utah is pretty damn close to Vegas. Mormons might be scared to go to Vegas because it's Sin City, but people in LA are not scared to come to Vegas. But this is not going to be a home game for USC.
Nobody goes to those games out there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. So what do you think about this, Cheeks?
Well, I think you know who I'm going to pick to win. But looking at statistics, statistically speaking, USC's definitely going to win. But USC's biggest weakness is their special teams. And they really need to work on their special teams. They've got a low ranking on their special teams. So the biggest hope for Utah is to find a way to beat their special teams. But Utah's weakness is their pass blocking. So if Caleb airs it out every single time or most of the time, they're going to slaughter.
It's the same thing. First game of the season, Florida beats Utah, and Florida won through passing the ball. I don't know that they have the. From my understanding, Utah has a great run defense, but offensive or their passing defense is where they lack.
They're okay for the run defense, but their passing really needs a big band-aid.
But Caleb Williams does have. I mean, he has an arm. He can throw. He can run. He has people behind him to run.
He's breaking records at USC. Yeah, he definitely has the ability.
Nice fingernails.
Yeah.
Don't pick on those.
Ripper, take it from here, man. What do you think about this game?
I think Caleb Williams, just puts the icing on, on the cake here. Wraps up his Heisman. I think the votes are already cast for the Heisman.
He's a shoo-in at this point.
I think so, and I think this is just a cherry on top, honestly.
Yeah.
So you think they win?
I do.
So USC's in.
I think so.
Top 4, USC's in the playoffs.
I think so.
So do you think if they lose this game that Caleb won't get the Heisman?
No.
The
votes are done.
I think that, the vote. But in this case, if USC loses this game, they're not in the top 4. But Ripper just said that USC is in the top 4.
Yeah.
USC is in the playoffs. What do you think, Rebel?
Statistically, USC should win the game.
Yes.
Talent-wise, USC should win the game. It's hard to beat a team once. It's even harder to beat them twice.
Yeah.
The only way USC loses this game is if they lose it themselves. Is the moment too big for a program that has not had a moment this big in, 10, 15 years? So they are their own worst enemy here. If they lose this game, they're going to wake up the next day and go, we did this. It's not going to be because Utah beat them. It's going to be because we turned the ball over. We played poorly. Our techniques were bad. We did not play sound football. If they do the basics, they win the game.
Should Lincoln Riley get Coach of the Year?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of candidates. We kind of had that. I mean, there's a lot of ways to go with this. He is a candidate there.
To take a team that had a losing record last season
over the Horned Frogs, who nobody saw coming.
That's true.
Over Notre Dame, who started out crap, and then they lost last week. He died last week. He died last week.
Josh Heupel,
Jim Harbaugh.
That's true. Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh really needs to
that race
look
will be
at
tighter than the Heisman. I'll put it to you like that.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Good point. And when do they do Coach of the Year? Is that going to be after the season's over then?
After season.
Yeah, so it kind of wraps up depending upon who wins the national championship then. Who's your daddy? I see you wanted to talk on this.
Very impressed with USC this past weekend, and I think Caleb Williams will win the Heisman, regardless of the outcome. But I think this weekend they will be upset and knocked out of the top 4.
Again by Utah. Utah wins again.
Tyrone Willingham.
You know who the biggest Utah fan in the country is?
Who's your daddy?
Alabama.
I did pick Utah from the very start, but Cheeks knows I've been a USC follower the last couple of weeks, but this week I think that's where it ends.
And I picked Caleb from the very beginning to win the Heisman.
Yes, you did.
That's impressive.
There was no homerism there whatsoever.
There was no homerism there.
No. But why didn't I bet on that?
Well, after watching him this last weekend, he's phenomenal.
As they say, he's peaking at the right time.
All right, let's go. We played that one out a little bit. Big 12 Championship. Number 3, TCU. If they lose, they're not in the top 4 either. Okay, even though they're undefeated right now, most people will drop them into the top 4. I think. And they're playing number 13 Kansas State.
Actually, I think number 10 now.
Oh, are they number 10? Ripper, you called Kansas State to win or to be in the playoffs this year at the beginning of the season. They're not. They had a couple of challenges come by. Adrian Martinez got injured. They had a little bit of rough patch, but they're in the Pac-12 champ or the Big 12 championship against TCU. Thinking about this game, my thoughts: K-State did lose to TCU 38-28 in the middle of October. So, that being said, does TCU win again, or does Kansas State come back and knock off the Horned Frogs?
So, Kansas State was up like 17 points in that game in October. They were with their second-string quarterback, but their second-string quarterback got hurt. So then they had to go to their third-string quarterback, who really couldn't help move the ball down the field.
Is that Will Howard?
No, Will Howard's their second string.
Second string now. Okay.
Right, and that's who's basically going to be playing on Saturday.
That's who's playing on Saturday.
Right. Once Will Howard went down, TCU came back. I think with Will Howard being healthy, Deuce Vaughn, little 5'6", 175 running back, he's probably going to put up 150 yards. I think K-State gets this win.
Oh, wow. So in that sense, TCU is not in the playoffs then.
No, I agree with that.
Why do you say that?
K-State.
You're liking K-State in this game.
Yeah.
Because of what he said with the, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Howard is going to be back.
TCU is just due for a loss, in my opinion. K-State's going to get them to it.
I said that 3 weeks ago.
They're on a big stage right now that they might not be able to handle, don't you think?
And I've been on TCU's bandwagon the last couple of weeks with Cheeks. But Ripper and I had a discussion earlier. This is the week. Second upset, I predict. K-State wins this game.
K-State wins this game.
And what happens? Not deserving, the Buckeyes go into the Final Four along with Alabama.
Along with
Email. Every man a Wildcat.
Going to get a lot of people
Both
talking.
Both of them get in, huh?
A lot of people talking after this weekend's over. Both of them.
You guys have big hopes over
Everybody in the country wants to see Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, and Michigan in the top 4.
And that's what I have.
Everybody wants those 4.
I'm still back in TCU.
We're not deserving, the Buckeyes I'm talking about.
And will they pair it to where it's a Big Ten SEC matchup in each of the...
Yes.
I think so.
It would be interesting to see.
It's one of these things, so kind of to equate to USC. USC had some expectations. They knew they had the talent. They if we can put it together, we can make a run. Nobody saw the Horned Frogs coming.
Nobody.
No one. So the point being is a relatively new coach coming out of nowhere. The moment is too big for the Horned Frogs. Look, I've watched that championship game so many times. Texas be running the table, lose to Texas A&M. I've watched Okie State run the table, get to that game, lose to Oklahoma. I've seen this happen time and time again. This moment is too big for the Horned Frogs. They go down this weekend to K-State.
Every one of yards out in the Horned Frogs, but I am...
Funny.
Except for
I'm not doubting them. I just believe in the Wildcats.
Yeah, K-State, when K-State gets hot, man, they're hot.
I think Max Dugan he knows what he's doing. Focused, determined, ready to play some football.
Laser sharp.
Coming out consistent, going to be looking good. Beats K-State. I don't know what the score is going to be. It's not going to be a blowout. It'll likely be close by 10 points.
This game took K-State out of the conversation when they lost this game. They will be motivated for redemption. Again, as I said earlier, it's hard to beat a team once. To beat them twice is even tougher.
Where do they play that?
They're it's in Dallas, isn't it?
It's in Dallas. They played at Jerryland.
So, I mean, it's more of a home game for TCU than it's... I mean, that's
it don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that K-State's fans are going to travel all over the place, are they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, are they? Because last season they couldn't even fill a freaking stadium. So...
if TCU can figure out how to
What do they have, 40,000 seat stadium, and they couldn't fill it last season?
What are you talking about?
No.
Not Kansas State.
Halo.
They sell it like every Saturday.
Oh, they
I'm
do.
thinking
Okay,
Mississippi State.
I might be thinking Kansas. Okay.
Hey, don't worry, Wildcats. I got your back.
But if they can figure out how to stop Juice Vaughn, then that's the game right there.
Yeah, that's sure. All right. I'm going to skip past the Big Ten championship because I'm going.
It doesn't matter, honestly.
I'm going in most or least important to most important, and you guys will see where my most important is at the end. Right?
Florida's not playing.
I know Florida's not. That's
I'm
my
going to
most
say it's
important.
not a conference championship game here.
ACC championship. Not too big of a game. I mean, neither team has any chance of being in the top.
They're playing for a New Year's Six.
They're playing for the love of the football game. That's about it, right? We got number 10 Clemson versus number 24 North Carolina. What is wrong with North Carolina, Rebel?
They finally started playing some defenses.
Holy cow! Y'all's quarterback, Heisman. Everyone was talking about him for the Heisman three weeks ago.
Look, honestly, it has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with him. It has to do with their offensive line that now is playing a defensive line that has some stoutness to it. They're not giving him time. He's running for his life. He is scrambling out of the pocket, and he is a Tom Brady, stand back there like a statue and throw the ball. And so therefore, how he plays the game. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I'm saying how he plays the game is like Tom Brady. He stands. What are you saying?
Ripper, just say it.
He leads the team in rushing.
Because he has to, not because he wants to.
Tom Brady would never do that.
My point being is he would prefer to stand back there in the pocket and throw the ball. He's running for his life. He's now played some defenses that are gotten after him. And so when he does throw the ball, he's inaccurate.
So is he running scared then, or is he just is he in his own head?
Maybe a little. He's a freshman. He's a freshman, so maybe he is a little bit.
Exactly. Confidence knocked down about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Hasn't come back.
So to Ripper's point, very rarely are they running scheduled quarterback runs. His scrambles and his touchdowns are because he's running for his life. And he's making something out because he's an athlete. This game, both teams are stumbling into this game. Dabo has said he's sticking with his man at quarterback. This might be the most disinteresting conference championship game in their history.
So should I have started with this one?
Yes, you should have.
Who cares?
Who cares?
I was just coming closer to home as I moved.
Because whoever wins gets a New Year's Six Day bowl that they get to lose. It's that simple.
Clemson won't lose a New Year's Six game.
Well,
they're good enough to make it through there. Yeah. What do you think about this, Chopper?
About what?
Clemson versus North Carolina, man.
I think it's a horrible game.
It's like move on.
Move on.
I mean, it's not SEC, right? So
move on.
That's just it's so bad.
1 word or 2 words.
All right. We all know what's the most important game of the week, so we're going to go ahead and go to the second most important game of the week, and that's going to be, and the only reason why is because you're looking at it. I mean, number 2 Michigan is playing.
Good.
The Boilermakers.
What is your problem?
No, I'd say which game you going with?
Number 2 Michigan versus Purdue.
I overstepped.
All right, so number 2 Michigan
order.
versus Purdue.
Will be a rout.
Everyone knows that this game is going to be a rout. Expound upon that.
It doesn't matter. Michigan's already in the playoffs.
But are they
even if they lost?
Are they going to come out and play like it doesn't matter?
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Are they looking ahead to the national championship then?
No. I mean, I don't think it matters.
I think they're still going to play because Purdue has a habit of dashing dreams.
Purdue might have a habit of dashing dreams. I don't know that they have.
No, Purdue has knocked off. I can't tell you how many number 2 teams in the last 10 years.
And you're one of them. Sorry.
His team is one of them.
You too.
Did you just call me number 2?
Yes. Hey, I'm number 1 here at this table, okay?
In 2018.
I'm sorry, guys. You can talk all you want about teams, who's going to win this game. One of the top defenses in the country, 44-12. Michigan wins the game.
Yeah.
It boils down to this: is Quorum 100%? If he is 100%, it may end up being a blowout. If he is still unhealthy, I'm going to tell you, and again, being the outsider who loves watching this rivalry from last weekend, but I'm not emotionally attached. Let me tell you what, last week Ohio State looked 2 years ago and went, we got killed up front. They reinforced it, and they won the battle right there. their safeties got annihilated. Okay, their safeties made McCarthy look like he's a Heisman Trophy guy. All right.
Oh yeah.
Purdue's defense in the back end is better than that. If that Michigan running game is not where it needs to be, this game ends up closer than it should be. Michigan still wins the game. I'm not saying there's an upset. But I'm telling you, if Corum plays and he's healthy, blowout. If not, this game will get into the third, early fourth quarter before Michigan pulls this thing out. And Michigan wins the game. There's no question to me there.
Chopper.
Yeah, I think it'll be a boring game. Michigan wins big, though.
Yeah, I'm thinking 52-10. You know, like this is going to be, it's over before it starts.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not over before it starts because Michigan starts slow. But by third quarter, man, they just start putting up points like nobody's business.
Corum wasn't healthy last weekend. Look what they did.
But I'm telling you, it had nothing to do with McCarthy. It had to do with
Edwards.
And when Edwards broke those plays, they brought everybody up in, and the safeties did not fill a gap. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The Ohio State safeties looked that bad. They might as well have pulled him off the field. The same thing happens. And that's because of their poor play as to why he broke those runs, because they brought everybody up into the line, and they didn't fill gaps, and they ran through them, and once they run through, there's nobody back there to cover them.
Yeah, I know. What happened last week? I'm going to give you your stage for a second. What happened last week? Ohio State loses to Michigan.
All right, so I don't want to talk about last week. I'll just tell you I'm not doing well. You know? I just... I don't know what to do with myself.
I didn't even get a rip report this week.
I know it.
Are you depressed?
I am. I'm down. I've been singing "Fade to Black" by Metallica for like 3 straight days.
Oh no!
You know, it's just rough right now, and it's okay. You know why? Because it's a game and it's a team that I love and I care about. I'm going to continue to root for them. You know, Michigan whooped our ass. And they did it 2 years in a row, and they did it better this year than they did last year. So good for them.
It's good life
on you.
lessons.
There ain't no life lesson here. I've had my ass beat plenty of times. So I'm a little guy.
For this game, talking about a blowout or
not. And you're in the military, so like they do a lot of
you learn to roll with the punches. Half of me dreads the thought of us getting into the playoffs, sneaking in the back door because somebody loses, and then getting annihilated again by Michigan.
I agree.
But at the same time, there's always a chance. There's a lot of talent on that team. Maybe that'll give us time to get healed. Maybe that'll give us time to be healthy. Maybe that'll be the difference.
You say there's a chance.
Hey, you know what? We had 1.9 million reasons why our defense was going to be better, but we forgot
the back end.
Think about the defensive. The long passes and the long runs, and as you said,
those big plays made the difference in that game.
Yes, it did.
It was blown assignments, but let's not forget, Ohio State had the lead at halftime.
They did. Yeah. No, I watched the first 3 series and I went, "Oh, this is going to be a long day."
Michigan was looking like crap, man.
You know, tell you honestly, I think they found a play. They exploited a moment. They were like, "We're going to go back to the well," and the well never dried up.
Ryan Day is known for making second half adjustments. That's been like the key to him since he's been our head coach.
Second half, he didn't really have to make a
second half. Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, made the second half adjustments. Ohio State did not, and refused to.
So, talking about the closeness of this Purdue-Michigan game, the boys in the desert have Michigan as a 16.5-point favorite. So that's what I'm saying. Wow. This game will be closer than it should be.
Closer than it should be. Well, let's go ahead and move down south to the SEC Championship game. We're heading to Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. What time is that game at? Is that the noon game that day? No.
7:30 probably.
8 probably. We'll say
it's a night game. Or maybe
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock game on Saturday. SEC Championship. Number 1 Georgia versus number 11 LSU. LSU coming off a terrible loss to Texas A&M of all teams. Texas A&M came out that day to play some football. Somehow, College Station just went crazy that day and they were able to win against LSU.
They actually did what they were supposed to do all year.
They did what they were supposed to do all year. LSU, I think that they're looking ahead to Georgia, thinking that Texas A&M already laid down for the season because the previous 6 games, Texas A&M laid down every single game. But They should not have looked ahead because they got beat, put them out of the playoff picture completely, and now even if LSU wins this game, they're not going to be in the playoffs. What do y'all think? Number 1 Georgia. I'm going to go to you, Chopper, on this first. Number 1 Georgia versus number 11 LSU. I saw your prediction.
Yeah, I think it's going to be low scoring. I predicted that LSU is going to win this game
by like 1 point,
21-17.
Yep.
I think it was my prediction. I don't think there will be a lot of points. I think first of all, Georgia knows they don't have to win this game. LSU's coming in saying, "Look, we're really not this bad of a team that you saw against Texas A&M. We want to end on a high note," and they'll do just that. It will be a home game essentially for Georgia. But there'll be plenty of LSU people in the Mercedes-Benz.
Probably half and half, even so.
Yeah, even so. Maybe 60-40. But I think that LSU wins this game. I think that moves Michigan to number 1. I think that moves Georgia to number 2.
Number 2, even with a loss.
And I think that moves Ohio State to 3 and Alabama to 4.
Oh, good Lord. All right. So, give it to me, Rebel. Your thoughts on the number 1 Georgia versus LSU.
So you said, you wanted to try to rate these in terms of importance. This is the second least important game that you have listed.
Because of the fact that Georgia's already in.
Because Georgia loses, they go in as a 3. They win, they go in as a 1. LSU does not.
I think they can go in as a 2.
They do not go in as a 2.
I think they can.
They do. They can. They won't. Because Michigan, if they win, if Michigan loses, you're right.
Yeah.
Michigan goes to 1.
Michigan goes 1.
Yeah. Or 2-3 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. The point being is LSU wins, they're not getting in. They lose, they're not getting in. Georgia wins, they're in. They lose, they're in.
So this is the second least important game I just talked about.
Least important. It's going to be fun, but it's going to be the second least.
It's going to be a headbanger
behind the ACC game, which nobody cares about. So, but the thing is, it's going to be fun. Here's the thing is, I still feel like at this point, Alabama's playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Sorry, Alabama, good gosh. Georgia, from the standpoint of their last few outings, they were blowing people out, and they haven't done this. I think they want to go into this game and make a statement and put fear in the hearts of some people, whoever that 4 seed is. And so, therefore, I think Georgia wins this game pulling away. I think last week demoralized LSU. We're playing a team that's not going to a bowl game, and we lost. And that killed our national championship hopes. So I think they stumble into the game. I think Georgia wins this walking away.
I think Brian Kelly already exceeded expectations for the season. He was looking ahead to Georgia, didn't really pay attention to Texas A&M. I really think that's what it was. A little bit of cockiness on his part, assuming that his team was good enough to win. And that's the only reason why they lost to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
They weren't looking at freaking plays.
And Georgia will do that exact same thing this week.
Yeah. So
when you talk about the A&M thing, I wonder if there were some discipline issues going on, and maybe they've weeded out the players that are transferring.
That could be true too. Yeah, you never know.
I mean, maybe they had some prima donna issues going on there. I don't know.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
We gotta move on to what the fuck.
Yeah.
Mine makes me mad. Go to somebody else. Mine makes me mad.
All right. Are you talking about UNC at all?
Yes.
All right, then I'm not even going to talk about my what the fuck. What the fuck? Who's your daddy?
My what the fuck is a good one. South Carolina Gamecock. Why did you wait to the last 2 weeks to play up to your potential and win games like you did?
Because Marcus Satterfield's not calling plays.
Satterfield needed a new job.
I'm so glad for them. I'm glad for their coaching staff. And regardless of what anybody else thinks, Satterfield did call the plays. I do believe that.
Yeah, I do. I think he did too.
And as offensive coordinator, I'm very glad for the South Carolina Gamecocks to see that they're going to get in a very prestigious bowl. And I'm also happy for Marcus Satterfield. I want to go on the record that he got through the season and potentially gets him another job where he's not fired.
What the fuck, Ripper?
Matt Rule, you just hired Marcus Satterfield as your offensive coordinator. What the fuck, Matt Rule?
So true. That
He's going to Nebraska, right?
But that was part of his problem at the Panthers. He hired a bunch of people he had no connection with.
Yep. What the
God.
fuck?
And Satterfield was a line coach. He was not an offensive coordinator.
Cheeks, what the fuck?
Okay, mine is epic. The Eagles are 10-1, and that's all.
All right. My what the fuck. Hoping I'm not stealing Rebels what the fuck.
You're not.
I'm having a good football season.
UNC started number 1 as in the college basketball, and now they've lost 2 in a row against ranked teams. What the fuck, UNC? Get it on track, bro. What the fuck?
They're not the best team in the country right now.
They're not. Well, obviously, but that just goes to show that preseason results don't matter exactly. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Chopper, what the fuck?
Yeah. Why in the world is Clemson still in the top 10?
What the fuck?
Ditto.
Fuck.
Good point.
My goodness
That is
gracious.
a good one.
They only played 2 games this entire season. They lost both.
What the
Why
fuck?
in the world are you still in the top 10?
Must have 3 committee members.
My goodness.
Rebel, give it to me. What the fuck?
My what the fuck, I want to joke, because normally I do with these and they're fun. I can't. I'm kind of in the same boat as the Ripper over here. 3 weeks into the season, you're the darlings of college football. Everybody knows who you are. Everybody's talking about you. They're like, what are they going to do next? You score 40 points in the fourth quarter. You go to College Station. You beat the number 6 team in the country in a game you should have never been in. You get game day. You can win on a Hail Mary to Troy, who, by the way, won the West of the Sun Belt this year. They are a legit team. To now, you miss a 29-yard field goal Saturday night, you lose in double overtime, and you're not bowl eligible. Appalachian State. What the fuck?
Good one. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
No defensive coordinator.
Thank
All
God.
right, all y'all heard our last call, so let's go ahead and hop onto that, okay? Reflecting on the college football season, which games were the most interesting and why? Just one, really fast. Okay. Who's your daddy? Give it to me.
Most interesting to me was this past Saturday, Michigan, Ohio State. I never dreamed that would happen. So
And
we
it
got
did.
our butts kicked. Michigan deserved it. Move on.
Move on. Jinx, give it to me.
Mine was, shockingly, maybe partially because I watched it from the swimming pool, but it was North Carolina 63, Appalachian State 61.
That was a fun game,
That
wasn't it?
I mean, out of all the games this year, was that not one of the most
40
fun?
points in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
They hit the
Hasn't
game
happened in
over
15
in the
years.
fourth quarter.
Remember, that is the opening part of one of our shows the following week as well. Like the opening.
No, that was the Troy game.
That was the Troy game.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. It was the game. I put that as an opening
Maybe you
to
did
the show. I did. Anyway, besides that point, great game. Okay.
Yes.
Ripper, hit me up, man.
All right, so my most entertaining game of the year was when the Gamecocks took it to Tennessee. Nobody was expecting that sort of offensive explosion from the Gamecocks. Spentler Rattler was just playing it lights out. I had Who's Your Daddy and Mrs. Buckeye in the living room with me, and we were all just kind of screaming and shouting at the TV. Mrs. Ripper was upstairs. We're texting back and forth about the game. It was just an entertaining, exciting game, and I think the most exciting game of the year.
That was a very exciting game. Chopper, give it to me.
Yes, I agree with that. So I have mine is a tie. So a tie between Carolina, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt, Florida. When? How long has it been since Vanderbilt won an SEC game?
That's so mean. Y'all are all completely against me, okay?
I felt a dagger was thrown there.
No.
Wow.
Do not remind me.
Vanderbilt rushed the field.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, all 7 fans rush the field. They might get 10 fans out to their games next season.
No, really, it's Carolina, Tennessee. I was just being silly. That was the most exciting.
Rebel, give it to me.
So mine being, as I just ran them in the ground, to say to my Mountaineers of App State, thank you for the experience of week 3. Game day, they're still talking about that game day. It got ranked in like their top 15 of all time. We played Troy. We win on a Hail Mary. Who wins on a Hail Mary? It happens like once every, 10, 15 years, a true Hail Mary toss.
Next week.
Unless you ask Aaron Rodgers.
Fair enough. And so, therefore, to give me the game experience that they had, for us to win that game how we did, I very rarely sat in the stands and just sat there trying to take it all in. That was that game. I played football. I've watched it since I was a kid. I'm still talking about it now, and that still is one of the greatest football experience days of my life.
All right, my last call is this on that. Is the games or the game that was the funnest for me to watch this year Actually, it was the fans. Carolina fans the last couple weeks have been insane, having a good time. Just amazing to see Carolina fans thinking that their team is back. And they might be. You never know. Spencer Rattler's coming back next year. It'll be
That's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. He might
It's
transfer
crazy if he
out.
doesn't. No, he could leave. He could
leave, yeah. So, but it's nice to see Carolina Gamecocks feeling like their team is ready to rock and roll. I mean, beating Tennessee and then beating Clemson last week as well. And then on top of that, you got Tennessee fans just going nuts. To me, that's the funnest thing to see. I love it. You get excitement about your team. The sucky thing is that Florida sucked this year, and hopefully we come back next year and win. Let's go ahead and...
Wait, one last thing I do shout out because I got a beer from a fan. Thank you, Jeff, very much.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, Jeff Bigworth, the caller of he can predict some games as well. Let's go ahead and wrap this show up. Thank you all for listening. Enjoy the show, and come on back next week to listen to some more.
Gamecocks.
This is the guys at the bar talking
Sports.
See ya.
If you like the show and you want to help the guys grow the show, go ahead and go to your podcatcher and subscribe to the show. Then you could also write us a review and give us 5 stars. If you do that, it'll help us grow the show. You could also join our Facebook group, which allows you to have camaraderie with other sports fans all over the country. You might even get a free beer out of it. So go ahead and join that group as well. And then check out our Substack, which is Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.substack.com for weekly articles and the Ripper Report.